wanted to talk to you guys about resilience within self-love. I feel that source has been preparing me for something, like ever since I was little. Like, I always felt like I was in a constant state of like rehearsal. And that was like literal, like I was always in a rehearsal getting prepared for like a show or something like that. But like life also felt like a preparation, to the point where when I got to where I was supposed to be, it's as if like I was already intuitively, subconsciously ready for it. And I feel like it just has to do with like the mindset that I have surrounding this realm, my life, and my ability to choose. I feel like my ability to choose has always been presented to me as, or tried to be presented to me as optional, but has truly been, has shown itself to be like my, like literally like how I control my own currency, where I direct my energy is what will grow. And I've always made it a habit to direct my energy in the directions that bring more joy, bring more peace, and bring overall more sovereignty to my being, you know? Because that's always all it's been. I've always just wanted to be free, right? Something I don't talk a lot about, or talk at all about on my YouTube channel, I never have, is my experience with housing. You can go back to so many different videos and see how many different like backgrounds and shit I have, you know, and that's just because like I've always been bouncing around, house hopping, or, just not really getting to like ground myself. I used to perceive myself as like a blank room, like a blank canvas, and the only way it will get filled up with color is if somebody else was in it. And soon enough, after that realization, I of course started filling up my own room with my colors. Etheric room, that is. So I never really had a room to myself like I do now, but there was a certain state of helplessness I feel like I was trying to be trapped in a way before. I'm used to having to live with miserable people. Like I thrived before, or so I thought I was, in chaos and disruption, and just with around people who had that embedded within themselves, right? But that isn't really me. I've had to adapt to it, just have to stay in people's houses, and you know what I mean. Your environment really does shape the being that you are able to choose to be. A lot of the choices that we make aren't even really like coming from the most authentic and pure place that it can come from, because of the programming that we have been subjected to. That is like bizarre to me.
Truly is. You are infinite. You are truly infinite. So, they said to, like, what I'm feeling right now is a frequency that is in love with the infinite. You feel me? Or like, they want you to strive towards that, like falling in love with infinity. And no pun intended, we're not talking about me, we talking about infinity, frequency. So fall in love with what you are, your nature. You feel me? and becoming, the highest version of yourself, or integrating with the highest versions of yourself, or integrating with your higher aspects and continuing to activate this knowledge and this information. You are a leader, bro. You are here to pave a path. You are here to save a generation, I heard. So,
living my life in the ways that I see fit, right? I'm doing what makes sense to me, and that has always been enough for me. As long as it made sense to me, I feel like, it was always like, oh, okay, bet. Yeah, this makes sense. This feels good. This feels correct. And not saying that always led me into like the best situations, because you know what I mean? Like, we're products of, harsh environments, and, inherited neglect. So it's obviously not surprising that in my adolescence there's some mistakes, just like everyone else. But, becoming conscious of those mistakes kind of allows you to accept this sort of continuity in your own life. The same lessons cycle back around, whether you like it or not, bro. And usually around the same time of year in this Gregorian calendar year, because source can adapt to anything. So it's like, if y'all want to believe in the Gregorian calendar, then okay, fine. Like, that's literally how your reality is gonna adapt, and what is gonna be like the ongoing facilitation of it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you're identifying something as your preset, like something like that calendar, then that's exactly what that's gonna be. So it's like just taking the cyclic aspect of what a year is, how it brings us back around. You know what I mean? Like, I've always operated in a sense where it's like, my birthday is the new year, and quite literally it is, because it's the start of spring, April 2nd. So I always knew my being was special in that way. April 2nd, 2002, 402 2002. So it's always been 222 that's like followed me around, and this, offered me beautiful instances of ease and overstanding of my own being. Just one of those times where things needed to shift. That's why I moved, because I needed to make myself uncomfortable. And that shit was not a fucking easy process, dog. That shit was scary. And that's scary, because I don't affirm that. But it definitely was intimidating in the sense of like, hey, I never done this before. New York is all I have known since I was born. And the only instance of like, I feel like freedom from New York was when I was younger, and like, my biological pops drove us to Jersey, or like, or he drove us down south to like South Carolina, stuff like that. I have vivid memories from like when I was a child, and I was like, around so much grass and greenery, and I'm like, oh my gosh, camp was such a beautiful experience for me. I loved camp so much. I used to cry every time I had to leave. Shout out to Camp McCamus, bro. They really did that. They made an experience for real. But yeah, things had to shift, because I was not seeing myself clearly enough, and obviously that clouds your judgment of other people when you don't see yourself clearly enough, because I wasn't even meeting my own needs, bro. I was giving so much to the people around me, and bro, people are okay with that. You know what I mean? People are subconsciously like cool with like overstepping boundaries and taking too much from individuals. Like they don't give a fuck. They don't even care. I just think that's so interesting because being an unconscious leech is diabolical, dog. Like literally, it's actually diabolical. And I feel like I go through so many like rounds of like gaslighting myself and almost like convincing myself that like I'm not tweaking. Cause it's like that people pleasing aspect. I just want niggas to be good, bro. I just want people to be fucking happy. But people like take that offering of like, yeah, I'm giving you grace and like contort it into any way that they fucking want, dog. Like that shit is so, especially for like an androgynous being myself, a neutralistic being. Like I've loved everybody I've ever met, bruh. Like I've genuinely loved them and loved them like, and I feel like I could say that because I've seen them clearly. I've chosen to see their light. I've chosen to see and acknowledge their potential. I gave them their flowers, dog. You know what I mean? And I never understood until now why it was so hard for people to like regurgitate that back to me. Like why was it that what I am spewing out is so sweet and I'm trying my best? You know what I mean? Because it's not like I was always hearing the most nicest thought forms. Like, no, like actually, and infinity be clocking my tea, okay? He be clocking my tea, okay? And I love it. I eat it up. Okay, because I appreciate being read, obviously, especially. Well, let me correct that. I appreciate being read by gods, goddesses who actually see themselves clearly and therefore are able to see me clearly, you know. But like I've had this aspect that just like can't, that wasn't able to say like, I guess, the harsh truth, you know. I've been labeled toxic, a toxic positive before. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily saying I would neglect the negativity, but it's still a form of neglect to, you know, wash over it with like what I think is transmuting it, right? Like my idea of transmutation was very, very surface level at a point in time. And just wasn't effective, I feel like, to my personal growth. Because it's more like I'm mopping up other people's messes at that point. Like I'm cleaning up other niggas' mess. I'm holding their fucking shadows, bitch. I'm fighting your demons, nigga. What the fuck? What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? Literally, what the fuck am I doing? And again, people were okay with that. Like people are fine with that, bro. Just like consuming unconsciously, because everybody is influential. Everybody has some sort of influence, whether they realize it or not. And everybody is like consuming whether they're aware of it or not. Like you perceiving something and creating whatever instinctual judgment about whatever you just perceived is literally you consuming that thing. I remember as a kid, my mom used to say all the time, so when you gonna lock your ear? When you gonna lock your ear? I used to look at her like, I'm never locking my hair in my life. I'm never locking my hair in my life. Literally, as a kid, dog, I shit you not, bro. Because I used to despise when somebody tried to put me in a box, bro. Don't you ever in your life try to put me in no box. I'm not trying to be like you. You think I'm trying to be like you? Why would I ever want to be like you when you out here perpetuating shit that I would never ever want to be? Now, obviously, like, I couldn't say it like that before. Like, I was real, like, no, I don't want locks. You know, let me just say, no, I don't want locks. And then after going no contact with my mom, after that first 6-7 months, I, like, officially locked my hair. Top of 2022, I locked my hair. And, well, we wasn't really no contact at the time. I was still texting her on her birthday and, like, still, like, people pleasing through the holidays type shit. Like, you know, texting her just because I know she wanted me to text her. But, like, yeah, I locked my hair for freedom. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be free of having to, like, have my hands in my hair all the time. I grew up in a fucking hair salon. My mom was always in my head. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, my scalp, I'm tender-headed too, bro. I could not deal with that shit. That was way too much. You know, but obviously, I didn't know as much as I know about locks now. And at the beginning of my lock journey, I wasn't necessarily in it to, like, you know, be a lock guru, lock girly, and like, oh yeah, I take care of my locks like this and da da da. Like, I just want something that would free me from having to fucking do my hair so fucking consistently. I have to tie up my head all the time and make sure it's da 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 da. And I mean, it's hair, so I should have expected to still have to do all those things, and I did in a way. However, there was definitely a lot of nights with no bonnets, especially because I was house hopping at that time. You know, it was a lot of get up and go type of things, you know, because, you know, why am I like, you know, people used to look at me in their house like, girl, why are you laying down for more than an hour after you've woken up? You need to go get a job, make some money, go do something, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So, like, I was couch hopping, but it was very just. Can I?
Go ahead.
Because that's how they made it through the lenses of patriarchy and capitalism. However, economy, the way that we work together, the way that we exchange goods, the way that we exchange currency, the way that we just barter in general and interact with each other, you know, those instances have been warped to be centered around money rather than actual community.